All right, welcome back to our budget workshops. This is the second of the City Council's budget workshops, and it is April 2nd, 2026. On tonight's agenda for our workshop are discussions about budgets for the police department, the legislative and executive lines, as well as human resources and IT. Once we conclude our workshop tonight, as you know, we have a regular business meeting that will start at 7 o'clock. With that, you're leaning in, Councilor Michaud. Do you have a question?
No. I'm
Okay.
watching you with,
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to the city manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think we'll start out with the police department is where we landed. They were jockeying for position earlier, so I tried to get somebody to go first, gentlemen, but you're up. How's that? And as customary, for the folks watching at home, we have walking through you on the screen is how to navigate to our budget within the city website. Go to our front page as Haley scrolls down to the budget review, and that will bring up our tabs where you can go to department summary, and then public safety, and you'll find police. For counselors, that starts on page 180 of your budget books. So what we have with the police department, overall, this budget is up 7.87% over last year's budget was, or the existing budget is $76,737, and it is up to $8,065,398, or addition of $588,661. It's very simple to follow along with the increases. You'll find is in their contractual wages and health benefits and fringe. You'll see that overall line is what carries the lion's share of that increase. When you combine those lines together, that's an additional $664,814. And then as you go down, some of the highlights, their contractual is actually down $98,000, $648,000. That's their entire list from printing and repairs to buildings and items like that. You'll see a significant decrease in their repairs and maintenance of equipment of $127,258. That is due to last year we put money in the budget to prepare for an upgrade in our software system, our police software system, and that's not needed to be put in this year's budget. So that's the major reduction there. And again, you can see as you go down the lines, there's some subtractions and small additions. Their repair and maintenance to motor vehicles is up $10,000. That's because of the cost to upfit the police cruisers and items like that, so and costs. So I do have the Chief Lully and Deputy Chief Brand here. If you have any specific questions, and gentlemen, please feel free, if I've missed anything, to add it.
No, that's a great summary. We appreciate the lead-in. Mayor and Council, thanks for having us. City Manager, we appreciate the opportunity to answer any questions you might have about the budget. One of the pieces that we did factor in as an increase that may not be needed was when we originally drafted the budget, we were trying to factor in what it was going to cost to commercially replace the mechanic. So we factored in an additional almost $30,000 for that, for additional repairs and services. Since that time, Delson has been hired as a replacement. He's fitting in very nicely. So for full transparency, I don't feel that is going to be needed. I think he's going to be able to facilitate everything that we need in that regards. So just wanted to front load with that before you had any questions.
Councilor Lind?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So school department was here before you, and they've got some challenges, and I'm not implying that I want to shift costs from the police to the school, but I do have a question just for awareness and education. The resource officers at the school, I know some communities the school pays, some the police department pays. I think we have 2 resource officers.
That's correct.
And here in Augusta, is that cost borne by the police, the municipal side or the school side, Chief?
That's absorbed in the police department budget. So the two positions that are up there, if they weren't permanently assigned to the schools, they would ideally be assigned to the evening shift, or we would backfill in those positions. We pay for their salary for the entire year, regardless of the amount of time that they're at the school, and we are grossly in the minority when we compare ourselves to other communities. The only other community that does it similar to us is Auburn. However, they attempt to build a school, they just never get paid by the school.
So if it is paid by the school, are they supervised and controlled by the school, or are they supervised and controlled by the chief?
They still fall under our chain of command.
Okay.
There's certain specific duties that they're assigned through the school. The superintendent and I have a great rapport. We communicate sometimes on a weekly basis about some of the activities, but they have a supervisor at the police department, Lieutenant Jason Cody, and he's aware of anything they're assigned. Any new assignments or duties have to get cleared through him first. And so there's a good partnership there.
I want to keep it the way it is. I just wanted people to be aware for next year, maybe there needs to be a little discussion about that. And you know, our Bicyclist, Pedestrian, and Safety Committee, we keep talking about traffic stops. And I was reflecting on last night, you telling us about how that works. And I may have had a friend or two that might have got pulled over by Officer Mills, I think, when he was the traffic patrol officer. So do we have a dedicated officer? I didn't have a chance to ask you last night. I'll ask here in this meeting. Do we have a dedicated officer that does traffic?
We do not. So the last officer that was a traffic safety officer was Scott Taylor, retired about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Since then, we do have auxiliary positions when we have the staffing. We're still currently down 4 positions, so we don't have all the auxiliary positions filled. But that's one of the ones that we do rotate in at a given time.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, my apologies. I was just going to say that all of the traffic details that you're hearing about, for this quarter, we had 137 vehicle stops. As compared to this time last year, we had 345, so about a 250% increase, about a 230% increase over the year before that. But all those activities are being done through a combination of overlaps, grant details that we partner with through the Bureau of Highway Safety that you folks approve us for each year. And then through some of the overlaps, staff will team up, address some of our problematic areas. The Traffic Calming Committee provides us with a list on a routine basis, so we have an idea of where the concerns are that are being provided to us. We try to address those as we can throughout the week.
And in all fairness, in 8 years, I would submit we've done some construction, some road diets that probably have lessened the need for that, but still, nonetheless, is still speeding. And I was thinking,
That's correct.
okay, all right, great. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Sinkowitz?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I apologize to everyone for my tardiness today. I did not allocate enough time between swim lessons, which I used to see Deputy Chief Brand quite often, and our meeting tonight. Thank you for your budget, and it is very straightforward. I have, as usual, a few questions that I just want to understand a little bit better. A couple of them are just reminders of what the things are. On page 180, with our page numbers, thank you again to city staff, I am looking at the expenditures. The ones that I have questions about just what they are, I guess they're more of why we're expecting costs to go down. Repairs and maintenance of the building looks like it's coming down, and I've heard from our city manager that we no longer have a warranty, so I was interested to see that.
We were, upset to see that as well. We, like anybody else, we'd like to see the warranty last a little bit longer, but no. We're fortunate. The cost and repairs to the building are certainly very manageable, very reasonable. We've had a couple situations that have arisen from some of our community consumers who haven't necessarily treated the building the way they should have, and that's come at a cost to them through the criminal justice system. But conversely, we've had to pay that out of our budget to make sure that it stays looking as pristine as it is right now.
I would,
May I real quick?
please.
I think, and thank you for reading my budget message.
Of course.
So that there, all of the facilities are in facilities. So that came down in that budget. You see that minuscule line from the police department. That's like if they need paint on their own.
Okay.
So that in my budget message is from the facility side, not the PD, just to clarify.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other part that I saw looks like it's coming down by about half is the criminal investigation line.
Yes.
Would you, one, remind me what is involved in that line, and two, why we're expecting that expense to go down?
Certainly, we're fortunate because of our partnership with the Maine Drug Enforcement Agency that a lot of the drug testing that used to fall a burden to the department and to the taxpayers, we kind of transfer that cost because of that partnership. We have a detective that's assigned to the Drug Enforcement Agency right now as a full-time agent, Nate Walker, and because of that partnership, again, they absorb that. So prior to looking at making any adjustments in the budget, we actually went to our command team, one of whom is Lieutenant Jason Cody. He oversees the criminal division, and asked, where, if at all, do we need increases or decreases? And that was actually his recommendation based on his past decade serving that unit. So I took him as my subject matter expert and made the recommendations he projected.
We love subject matter experts. The last one there is just wondering what falls under our contracted services, and it looks like that one we need to go up in. We're expecting that to go up, and that's the contracted services under wages, or under contractual, sorry.
So are you talking about the contract benefits or contracted services?
Contracted services, although I did have a question mark next to contract benefits, so you can start whichever you prefer, Chief Lilly.
So contract services, we had a few items. We actually went down $10,000 in that arena. We found 4 of our partners that weren't necessarily providing the services that we were wanting or still needing, so that we severed ways with 4 of them, resulting $10,000 savings. Where the increase comes from is the PSAP through 911. I didn't recognize an error that I had made as 25 was leading it to 26. So when I was preparing the numbers this year, I recognized that error, and that's why it shows, even though the amounts that we were paying out and we were being billed for are accurate, the figures that were on paper were inaccurate, and that was an error on my part.
Okay, thank you. The last 2, the contract benefits, I saw that is expected to go down even though we've been kind of at what we've budgeted. And then I also had a question about overtime. Maybe it's a misprint in my budget. It looks like it's at 0 this year, and that seems maybe not true.
Yes, so I can jump on that one. The contract benefits is all done through Human Resources. They look at contracts are negotiated and what those will be. Those are additional things like, different benefits that the staff gets from their negotiated contracts. So that would be done through them as far as adding those all up. So what I would anticipate is some of those lines went down this year, is why it's down to 36,000. And the projected FY26, we have not updated that number yet.
Okay.
Because that's just a projected, oh yeah, and you see the budgeted, excuse me, I'm all over the place. Are you talking about overtime?
Yes, so contracted benefits, you answered that it's likely a formula that is different this year, but the overtime, it looks like projected in 26 is 0, which I would be very surprised.
Yeah, we haven't updated that, and I can
Okay.
tell you after looking at it, they're at about 360,000 right now.
Okay.
So they're over on there, or probably even a little bit more now, right?
Yeah, well, that,
Yeah, and the anticipation would be upping it next year to be consistent with the raises and presuming that they will get up to staff, because obviously when they're not and there's vacancies, that offsets that cost, so.
that makes sense. While I have you as a target of opportunity, Chief, I noticed in your goals and objectives a couple of things that I wanted to highlight, where you talked about studying your call volume to be able to respond in an innovative way. Is there anything more you'd like to say about that?
We're certainly trying to explore electronic services in lieu of officers going. They do some online reporting. I'm sure that as we continue to develop AI and look at what will be and will not be acceptable both by the city as well as the court system, that'll certainly mitigate some of this. We are looking to test and evaluate some AI software in the future. And again, as we begin to look at which pieces of equipment actually fit into our wants and needs, then that'll certainly warrant further discussions with this group to see if that's something that the city is actually in support of.
Great, thank you. And the last was, I saw listed in your community partnerships, a partnership with Capital Area New Mainers Project. Is there anything you'd like to add about that?
Sadly, there's nothing new. It's a great partnership. We have many of them, but there hasn't been any new developments with them recently.
I love seeing all the goals highlighted. It's great to see them reflected throughout the quarterly reports and then here at the budget. So thank you for that, because I know that's another thing to add during the budget season. But
That's okay. We don't mind.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Council Michu?
Good evening. How many current budgeted positions are unfilled?
We currently have 4 vacancies.
And at the beginning of FY 2026, how many?
We had 7 at that
So
time.
you've filled 3 of them.
We have.
One's a dispatcher though, right? The 4 out of the 4?
Yes, that's correct.
So it's 3 patrol positions.
So, would bringing the staff to full, would that offset all of the overtime? Would there be any savings by filling those positions to avoid $375,000 in overtime? Or would it be a wash?
You mean bring it back down closer to like 340 or 345?
Well, you'd have to, obviously, the salaries are budgeted in this for those positions.
Correct. Yep.
And if those positions were filled and paid, I mean, theoretically, the overtime would be diminished significantly, correct?
It would be diminished, but it would still be in the 200,000 to, $300,000 range. There's certain things that they have to fill. The dispatch has set overtime built into that, that they have set up and things like that. But it would be a savings, no doubt. I would probably have to do a better analysis for you, Counselor, to get you an exact number. But I just don't want you to think it would go down to 0 or.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what is going to be the best bang for our dollar. Obviously, if you can get those positions filled, but I think this has been a recurring situation. As long as I've been there, I don't think the police force has been fully manned.
Likely not, because I think the last time it was fully staffed was when Chief Mills was still running the office. It's been a struggle. Staffing, the recruiting or retention is always a challenge, not for just us, but for other communities as well. One of the biggest things that they look at, is call volume, the pays, the benefits, which certainly they no longer have that challenge in front of them as far as the benefits. We have a tendency, the City of Augusta has been a high-volume producer of calls for as long as I've been here. And I think it's just the nature of the community. It's a very busy community. It's a hub community, so a lot of folks come in getting a lot of services. For the answer for the overtime, adding the officers would absolutely cut down on some of the overtime, because right now we have forced overtime every day, almost every day, and that would eliminate some of that. The other part of that is when officers get a little bit more time to work with additional officers, they share that call volume amongst them, so the burnout factor becomes less of a burden for them. And so again, that leads into our retention piece.
And do we still have you dedicated some time, an officer, to patrol downtown? I know that we've done it. I don't know if that's still an active piece.
We do. Most of what we're trying to do to try to mitigate some of the overtime, as a manager said, because of the new pay scales and because of the ongoing overtime, we have not put overtime details down, but through each day, staff members are going down, addressing a variety of different issues, whether it be traffic control details, or they're checking the parking garage, they're doing a multitude of foot patrols, neighborhood watches. As you saw probably in my quarterly report, those numbers, those community contacts are severely high because of that, because we've been trying to do our due diligence of being present. We're not there all the time, but we're trying to do what we can.
But that's during regular business hours when we don't have somebody that's downtown working overtime necessarily.
No, we don't.
And just one more thing, I'm assuming that when you did the budget for gas and lubricants, that was prior to the current situation that's going on around us.
I did. I used the same model that we've used for the past several years, based off approximately 33,000 gallons. At the time, looked at $2.50 per gallon, which brought us to about $78,000. Obviously, it's nominally higher right now, but no, I did not factor in a $4 leap at that time.
I think that's all. I don't see, maybe I'm missing any new vehicles.
Yes, under
budget?
under the motor vehicle section, we typically budget for 3 vehicles each year, and the current price, I believe, is around $47,000 per car right now.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Do the school resource officers, do they get redirected to downtown when school's out?
Yes, I do. So when school's not in, whether it be a vacation, whether it be holidays, or whether it be summer break for sure, they're usually the primary respondent. We call it being in District 4, so the downtown area.
Councilor Lind?
I just, I don't know if this would be the city manager or the chief, but the, the overtime, and I'm going to try to articulate this correctly, if managed correctly, is really a benefit because, for a couple of reasons. I think first, it's expensive to hire an employee, and you can spread that overtime out a little bit, so you're not paying benefits like you would a full-time employee. I think additionally, if used correctly, particularly in organizations like yours as a 24/7, 7-day-a-week, there's a little bit of a retention tool, a little bit of a morale boost in being able to allow that overtime for some of the police officers and the firefighters. I know it's a culture that will help probably retain people. Am I incorrect in that, or?
You're correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Gary Allen?
Just a couple of questions. How much do each of the police officer positions that are not currently filled cost?
With salaries and benefits, we are at, the patrol is 126,516.
And how about the dispatcher?
Don't have the dispatcher. It wasn't vacant when I did this spreadsheet, but it just became vacant the other day, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Tentatively.
But I can find that out for you?
Tentatively.
I believe it's around 85,000 a year.
Okay.
For a brand new dispatcher.
Thank you. Thank you,
Don't
Chief.
worry, we're not going for the dispatcher or the police officers. Just curious. And then the other question I had is the community response specialist within this budget? So Dawn, is Dawn in this budget?
Yes.
Okay, are we still
Oh,
paying?
I'm sorry, no, she's not funded out of this budget.
She's paid through opioid settlement.
Yeah,
Okay, that was my next
Yes,
question. So,
sorry.
so she's not in this police department budget as like a line? Okay,
yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, she's not coming out of the general fund. Opioid settlement funds are paying for her.
Okay, and that's still 100% paid for by opiate settlement
Yeah.
funds?
This will be the third year.
Okay, I'm just going to do my rant.
Yep.
Here we are, Courtney doing the rant. I do not think this is sustainable. I do not think this is good budgeting. I think we should take on a piece of this salary if we think that we want Dawn to be here for a very long time, because opiate settlement money will end. And best practice on budgeting is to ensure that you build that into your sustainability plan. I would again ask for like 10% to come out of the general fund. That's my rant.
Anyone else? I think we're good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time.
All right, next is the legislative and executive.
Legislative and executive, and I think what I'll do to get the folks that are here out, we'll kind of go a little bit backwards. We'll start with, how about human resources, starting on page 100. We'll start with that, and then we'll do informational services after that. You want to come up, Christy? Thank you. Joining me is our Human Resources Director, who you all have had a chance to meet now and settled in very nicely. She's the one responsible for doing all of a huge part of this budget is the salaries and benefits and fringe, and she does all of that amongst the other things. But so her budget is up $121,653, and that is a bit shock and awe, but I've articulated that in the budget message that we've moved the payroll specialist into her budget line. So that's why that increase is so high. So you'll see when we do finance where that that position was, that went down. So it's not an increase in position. It's moving the payroll specialist from finance to Christie's budget because he works within that office. And at one point it was there and it was moved out, and we're finding that it does serves us better to be under the human resource umbrella. So that's why you see that. Normally, this is a smaller budget. So if you look at the overall wages and health benefits and fringe, that's 116,420 is for overall. But again, that's their raises and COLAs for the year along with that payroll specialist. So going down through their budget, you'll see a bit of an increase in travel expenses and conferences. We pride ourselves in training and sending all of the folks in that office who have traditionally not gone to those types of trainings. Christy can talk about her HR specialist who we're trying to train in more areas. So we've increased that budget line. And you'll see some of the other lines, contracted services went down, and to kind of offset that. So overall, the only significant increase that you see is within the wages and salaries, but again, that's because we shifted one position to them, adding to it. And Christie's here to, if I missed anything, please feel free to add or subtract.
Questions from councilors? Councilor Singlewitz?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hi, Christy. Thank you for being here. I want to give you an opportunity to answer my question from earlier about the contracted benefits as well. But the one question that I had on this was, what did we have? I think City Manager Mills just referenced this. Did we have something in the contracted services line that we're getting rid of now?
So part of that decrease is a result from, in the past, we were budgeting a fairly significant amount to cover. We would hire Maine Municipal Association to assist with union contract negotiations. We one are completely done with union negotiations for the next couple of years, and we don't anticipate needing their support. We not utilizing them for negotiations. City Manager Mills and Assistant City Manager Post and myself kind of handled negotiations, and that was, I think, fairly successful. So I don't think that'll be necessary in the future. In that line, otherwise, sort of reflects just sort of a cushion should there be a need for arbitration, attorney expenses that are kind of, that we can't really plan for.
Sure.
So that's what that decrease kind of reflects. And as far as the contracted benefits, so that usually reflects different contracts offer employees different benefits, such as uniform allowances, cell phone stipends, differentials for working in the evenings or something like that. So that's generally speaking what that line typically reflects.
Great. So when we see some fluctuations in there, it was likely part of the union negotiation, the contract negotiation.
We had, seven union contracts that we closed. So a lot of those contracts had different, had changes to the benefits that were being offered.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Councilor Lind?
Christy, I love that approach to negotiating, having you there. I think that's really wise because, day by day, you look in that contract, you know that contract better than someone at MMA. I thank you for doing that. I really agree with that quite a bit. The only question I had, I'm curious, I'm not implying that we're going to lay people off, but I'm wondering, once in a while I read a little bit about HR, can't get rid of it out of my head, but AI, is it streamlining anything in terms of payroll or benefit administration or maybe getting information out to people or?
Yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet. We certainly use it on a limited level as far as assisting us in creating job postings and that sort of thing, but we're not to the point of, we haven't contracted with any companies that are offering AI services to scan through resumes or anything of that nature. So I think our AI use is pretty limited in scope right now. Potential for it in the future, I mean, I think we really need to get better at leveraging the current tools we have before we try to really get into AI for a lot of, because HR is very human-based, and there's, I think, a little bit higher risk involved when you bring AI into making decisions related to that. So we would.
Perfect answer. Thank you. I like it. Appreciate it very, very much.
Other counselors? Okay.
And I just wanted to add, with the training specifically, the Maine Workforce Development Compact is something that's available to all employers in the state of Maine, and we've really been trying to encourage our departments to utilize that grant funding source, which provides up to $1,200 of training per year. They pay 50% of training, up to $1,200 per employee. Last year, in 2025, we received reimbursements in the amount of $14,000 as a city, and our goal is to increase that. So where you might see an increase in things like conference attendance and training, that's sort of done with the recognition that a lot of that will be reimbursed through that grant funding source. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Christy. Next, we have our new Information Systems Director, Corey Bellio. I butchered that, sorry, the last name.
Collier.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been a long day, I'm sorry. I did that on purpose.
Sure.
And you've seen him here before in the backup role, but obviously we've made the announcements, and Corey's a longtime employee with the city and a huge asset, and has been doing this for several months now. And we appreciate very much what he brings to the table, and you're going to see what he brings to the table in this budget, because lo and behold, it is down. And we'll get into the reasons for that. It's not just setting him up for success for his first budget, but he does own a lot of this for the hard work that he's done, and I'm going to get into that. But you'll see that their budget is down 5%, or $49,996, from $998,950 to $948,954. And what's happened since the retirement of Mike Shriver caused us to really look at how we were doing our operations. You heard and I apologize, this is page 97 is where we're at with this. Anytime somebody leaves, we look at overall operations, and you heard from the school department that we had a person within the school department that basically handed out laptops. It wasn't really a high-level information service, more of a person who kept track of items and things like that. Corey can give you the technical terms, but we decided, Corey worked really hard with the school department to look at our MOU as to how much we pay in total services compared to what they paid, and certainly the services we provide. And they agreed this wasn't a contentious thing. The school department completely agreed that they've gotten a really good deal over the years. So we've shifted some of that cost to them for our systems as well, that you'll see the reason why some of these things are down. So that's overall. It's actually two positions that we don't have to fund. The one in the school department, and the second one is based upon our management services contract that we're going to privatize, and that's in your contractual line that you see is up $122,338. And in that, we basically are significantly enhancing our protections and all of our systems that are in place. with a private contractor. So rather than hiring somebody at probably the tune of over $200,000, Corey has done a really good job at exploring alternatives. So we're privately contracting that out. So you'll see that two of those positions we're going to move forward without filling. Because of that, the school department taking one and our management systems with the other. So that's why that's up. The school still pays us for the services, in the salary line. There's $150,000 that offsets. That's why our overall salary line is down $182,000. Is one of the reasons, because the school department has offset that cost, and they also share the costs in our contracted services to keep that cost down as well. The other thing I will say is that's up is you'll see in website development, we've run into an issue with our website provider that is not really that old. It's a few years old now. They're unable to provide us with the services that we really need. One of the big issues is the ADA compliance that's coming. We're finding they can't keep up. There's some lack of responses, and we're going to have Haley up here next, and she can elaborate if you have any questions. But the long story short is we've built in an increase to change a website provider coming this year to transition from that. We still have the same one, but they're not fitting our needs, so we need to make that change. So that's really the increases that you see in Corey's budget and the decreases, explanations as to why. So Corey, feel free if I've missed anything to add or subtract, and Corey's here to answer any questions you have.
Said it better.
Corey, would you do us a favor and speak right into the microphone?
Sure, there we go. Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Councilors have questions. Councilor Sinkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hi, Corey.
Hey.
Thank you again for all your help on the opioid settlement fund application. I will take every opportunity to say thank you for all that you
pleasure.
did to get that out the door. And we had chatted a little bit about this. The switch to the private company, can you just expand on that a little bit about what we're going to get out of that?
Yeah, so of course, when Mike Schreiber left, he'd been here forever, and those who know Mike know that Mike knew everything, and kind of really was the architect of the system. And I'm sure he's watching right now, so hopefully this makes him feel good. But we were kind of left with the question of how we were going to fill that need, and we weren't going to get another Mike Schreiber, so we went the route of the IT managed service provider, which is, I describe it as support for support. There are folks that we can call to help us with project management, network infrastructure, server infrastructure, things of that nature. Just folks to help us out in a pinch. They'll help with some of the higher level projects, and there'll be some opportunities to expand our monitoring as well. So that's sort of the role that'll fill.
That seems great. So when I'm looking at the cost benefit of reducing the positions and adding the contracted services, what I'm hearing is we're not only gaining back some of the depth of knowledge that we lost, but also expanding the capabilities.
Correct. Yeah, we'll have a whole team at our disposal, with their specializations and everything. So yeah, it really does spread out the liability almost and that expertise, and it's not all on one person's shoulders.
That's great. Thank you very much for explaining that, and congratulations. Thank you for stepping into this role.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Council Lynn.
Corey, do you know if Maine Emergency Management still offers cybersecurity assistance?
They do offer some, and we had looked into that, and we were actually already doing everything that they were offering.
Okay.
It was either subsidized or free. I can't remember, but it is something we looked into, and we
Okay.
were already doing it.
I didn't think it cost anything. It just popped in my head thinking if it's free, grab it, right?
Yeah, and we are
Perfect.
already, so
All right, great, thank you.
certainly.
Others? Hearing none.
Easy enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Do you want to, we wanted to go last, or you want to? It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, we'll save Haley the best for last. We'll buzz through this very difficult mayor council budget. You guys are all up $420. And that's basically because we need more printing and things like that. So that's your very boring budget if you have any questions.
I don't have any.
Okay. A little bit more exciting, the city manager's budget. This budget's up $39,341. As you can see, that's primarily due to cost of living increases, health benefits, and fringe. We're down in a few lines here or there, but overall, that's the change in that budget.
Page 88.
Any questions, councilors?
All right, corporation councils next. You'll see they're up $4,504. That's to reflect the new contract prices for corporation council this year along the lines of their base retainer and general service. Oh, I'm so sorry. Page 89 is corporation council. I got to learn to slow down a little bit here. They've gone from, the base retainer has gone from $146,500 to $151,004, or an increase of $4,504 or 3%. And their, oh, that's their overall, I apologize, between the two of them. So I've reduced the general services budget based upon our use. You'll see that's down about $4,500, and that's looking at traditionally over the years. With the addition of Christie in Human Resources, we used to be a large draw on that. She saved us a ton of money, and most of it now is through council and other things like that being used. So, but I feel comfortable bringing it down to that number.
Councilors? What's that?
Okay, unclassified is up, wow, $119,750. You'll see with that, there's some small reductions. What I did with this budget is, this is where we keep the, not stipend, but we keep the subsidy for KV Cap. It's $35,000, I believe, is what we pay them each year. I've put in another $120,000 for transportation as part of a council goal. So keep that one in mind. That's extra money that I've placed in because that's a goal for transportation that I know, and obviously we've had some folks come in. I do have somebody coming in. I have another option of another company that we'll be bringing to you that we've been exploring in the end of April as well. And I've contacted Gardner and Hollowell. They've got some interest. So we'll talk more about that, but that's basically a $120,000 increase just in case you want to allocate that money to transportation as one of the goals. That's all that's up in that budget line.
Questions or comments?
Okay.
Move next.
Page 92, contingency. We have the manager and council contingency. You'll see this year we're back down to where we usually are, is that $30,000. The manager contingency is at $10,000 and council contingency is at $20,000. So it's down $35,000, and that's because of the VPI. Money that was put towards last year is not in this year's budget. So that's back down. That's down 53.85% or $35,000.
Council Sinkwitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So that, Manager Mills, one of the questions I had was the way that plays out over time. Is that in the, I'm seeing a $35,000 in the transfer out in 25, which may be the bicycle and pedestrian plan. And then I'm seeing that we've budgeted in 26, but maybe we haven't dispersed the full amount for the, okay.
Yep, we haven't dispersed it yet, so we're still holding that money, and it will be held and carried over, but not additional monies in this year's budget.
Makes sense.
Yeah, good
Thank
question.
you.
Anyone else? Don't see any hands.
Okay, yeah. And we've saved the best for last. Sorry, everybody, but she's running the PowerPoint, so I've got to say that. You'll have to do, can you run back and forth, Haley, when we move? Okay. Everybody knows Haley Govin, our Marketing Communications Director. She's here on hand to answer any questions. I will say with her budget, she's up $2,948 or 1.98%. That's from $148,956 to $151,904. And again, the lion's share of her increase is that overall, if you look at wages, health benefits, fringe, that's what's up, overall $7,458. So you can see she's offset the cost with some decreases in her budget from that overall wage increase itself. So not a lot here, and not a lot of change in this budget. Haley, if I've missed anything and you want to add or subtract, please do.
The only thing I would mention is it's in Corey's budget, but I did want to address the website increase that you saw in the IT line. I'm sure that will make him happy because he just houses it. I'm the one who handles it. So as you all know, we have the DOJ changes coming in 2027. And our current vendor can't provide us any assurance. I've worked with them for almost a year to try to get that assurance that they can bring the site up to those standards. And because they haven't been able to give us those assurances, nor have they been responsive, I involved Corey and Mike at the time, as well as Assistant City Manager Post, to try to get those conversations going and continuing. And unfortunately, it seems their size, while was a wonderful thing during our original redesign, that they were small and more localized in New England. I think they've just reached the capacity where they have taken on too much. So that cost was to transfer our website onto another host vendor. And then the decrease that you see in advertisement is the funding that we provided for the revaluation mailer. We have done multiple mailers this year, so we have found extra monies in our reval budget to cover some of those, but that's where you'll see that decrease.
Counselor Sinkowitz?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Haley, for giving us that overview and anticipating one of my questions already. I was wondering if that decrease was from the reval. This is really just minor, but I saw that the software is going up, and I was wondering if you're adding anything fun and new, or if it's just the increases of the subsidies or subscriptions.
So it is increases in Adobe Suite. However, it was recommended by a resident, and I had already implemented the free version of it. It's called Grammarly. It just assists to make sure that you're catching correct tenses. And as a department of one, it's difficult at times to review things, so it's always nice to have a second pair of eyes. I do utilize Loretta quite often, but there are times when she is busy assisting all of you, and I need some sort of something. So we did that at the suggestion of a resident who was very adamant that they thought that that would be helpful.
Well, I know this budget book comes from a software recommendation from the staff last year, so I'm very excited to see the continuing usage of it going forward, especially really excellent work this first year, and I imagine that as staff gets more and more comfortable with it, that it will even be better, so thank you.
So, Counselor Mary Allen?
It's actually going backwards, sorry. When you said there's $120,000 increase to the transportation budget, is that in addition to the 35?
Yes.
Would
So
be
a total.
155?
Yep.
Thank you.
So question, with respect to the, we've got a rebranding effort underway. Any expenses associated with that? Are they going to be next year's budget, or are they recovered this year's budget? Or have we accounted for that?
I don't believe we have. We had what we talked about, the 10,000 mark is what we were looking at, so we can cover that. But obviously, if it comes in more, it's a great question. We'll have to take that into account.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Haley, and thanks for helping out with the entirety of the budget presentation as well as your own.
Of course.
That's it. So that's it for our workshop tonight. Let me tell everybody here and watching when our next budget session workshop will be, and that'll be next Tuesday, April 7th at 6:30. And the areas of discussion that night are Public Works, Hatch Hill and Central Garage, Engineering and Development Services. So if there's nothing else with respect to this workshop, we're going to conclude this workshop. We're going to take a few minutes break, and then we go to our pre-meeting for our upcoming regular business meeting that starts at 7. And my suggestion or request is that we have that pre-meeting back in Conference Room C. Again, those are public sessions, but we're just not going to televise the pre-meeting part of it. And then we'll be back on the televised portion at 7 for our regular business meeting. All right, thank you.